In today's video, I'm going to be speaking to you about the super new moon in Aquarius coming up on Saturday the 21st of January. I'm going to be talking about some of the energies and themes that are present in this lunation, as well as the aspects and how to work with them. So do get yourself a nice hot drink, settle back, relax and enjoy. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So some of you may know that for a year and a little bit or so I've been creating new and full moon forecasts for Patreon, and I've been sharing some of this information on my Instagram, and I've also been creating new and full moon custom tarot spreads to go with each lunation, and I create a full written forecast for each lunation with the aspects, how to work with them, how they may be presenting within our lives, depending on which house the relevant sign occupies for you in your natal birth chart. My forecasts also go into shadow work that you can practice, as well as ritual and practice ideas and suggestions, and herbs and crystals that you can work with as well. And you also get a downloadable PDF of the tarot spread. So that is still available on my Patreon at the moment, and I've decided to start doing videos to go with these as well, because I really enjoy putting these forecasts together. I really love working with the moon, and especially looking at how, as the moon moves through the zodiac signs, the new and full moons are so different from one another, and even more so when you look at the different aspects that occur. So I'm really passionate about this, and it's an absolute love for me. So that's what this is all about. I really hope that you enjoy. So let's just get right on in to discussing the super new moon in Aquarius on Saturday the 21st of January 2023 at 8:53 p.m. GMT. That's British Standard Time, or UTC at present. So do calculate your time based on your location on the planet. So as we've said, this super new moon in Aquarius is occurring on January the 21st at 8:53 p.m. UTC, and this is at 1 degree 32 minutes of Aquarius. This new moon is the third new moon that we've experienced now in a row at 1 degree, and that's emphasizing these really compelling energies that are present within this lunation of that new beginnings and forward momentum. As with all new moons, there is already that sense of newness and sowing new seeds for the future. But another significator of this at this time is the planets that are going direct at the moment. So Mars is now direct in Gemini as of the 12th of January, and Mercury is direct in Capricorn as of the 18th of January. And Uranus is preparing to go direct on the 22nd of January. And this Aquarius new moon, as a result of all of these energies towards the new and that forward momentum, is an opportune moment to release those final threads of what we may have been holding on to, and to set those new intentions for the year ahead. And it does almost feel like January was different to other New Year's, and almost like people didn't want to set these New Year's resolutions because it didn't feel right. And I really have felt this deepening into winter. Obviously winter here in the northern hemisphere, not so much in the southern hemisphere, but still the zodiacal themes are present, and that going within that stillness of Capricorn season. And I've really felt that slowness and just that learning to listen in and to go inward has been really profound this time. So as these planets are going direct, you may start to feel a boost of energy in the Gemini and Capricorn areas of your chart in your life, and particularly in the Gemini house of your natal chart, which is where Mars is now direct and refueling and reigniting its passion, will and determination in a particular direction. So new moons typically already possess this energy of regeneration and a re-energizing of an area in your life, and super new moons are even more potent due to their closer proximity to the Earth. This creates greater seismic shifts and gravitational pulls on our tides and our bodies and our emotions. And so these super new moons are just a little bit more intense than a regular new moon. New moons are always an auspicious time to set intentions and sow seeds for the lunar cycle ahead, as well as the 6-month cycle until the full moon is in Aquarius. So you can find out which area of your life will be most affected by looking at your natal chart, your birth chart, and determining which house 1 to 2 degrees of Aquarius occupies for you. I'm using whole sign astrology, which is based on traditional Hellenistic astrology. So this, I think, tends to be more accurate for me. So when you are pulling your natal chart from whatever you use, whether it be AstroSeek or astro.com, there's usually extended settings and you can select the house system that you wish to use. So instead of the typical Placidus that it usually just defaults to, you can select whole sign instead, and that gives you a clearer picture of your birth chart to go alongside with this particular forecast in whole sign Hellenistic astrology. So when you've got your natal chart pulled up with whatever website or technology you use, you can then layer on top the transit chart for this lunation, and then you can see which areas of your chart are being affected and whether you've got any planets or points at the significant points of this lunation, and you can see how that is then impacting upon different areas of your life depending on which houses they occupy for you in your natal chart, because each house signifies and speaks to different areas of your life. So this lunation is likely to impact those with planets or points in fixed signs, and or as well as the air signs most notably. So you might wish to look at the house that Gemini occupies in your chart, as well as Capricorn, because Pluto is making an out of sign conjunction to the Sun and the Moon as it moves towards the anaretic 29th critical degree of Capricorn, and that's ahead of its ingress into Aquarius in March 2023. So you might also, of course, want to look at the house that Aquarius occupies for you in your natal chart, as well as Leo, Scorpio, and Taurus. These are, of course, the fixed signs in astrology, and you might also wish to look at the house that Libra falls for you in your chart as well, also being an air sign. So I really feel that this lunation is a pivotal point of transition, and we're going to inevitably feel a shift in the energies in the coming weeks, especially as these planets are moving direct, and certainly in March when Pluto ingresses into Aquarius. And this will collectively impact us as we will begin to see more power structures disintegrate to make way for the new vision of the people. And on a personal level, Pluto will also begin to affect the areas of your life governed by the house that Aquarius occupies in your birth chart. And this isn't anything to be fearful of, but just to be aware of in the coming months, as you may start to see shifts in these areas of your life. So right now at this Aquarius new moon, we stand on the precipice looking forward into the future at new possibilities and opportunities. Aquarius is the visionary, and now is an auspicious moment to start to take action on those ideas, plans, dreams and visions that have been percolating away. And perhaps they've been lying dormant for some time due to the Mars and Mercury retrogrades as well. And this is a moment that is pregnant with creative potentiality, and this lunation is also supported by some really benefic aspects, and we're going to look at those a little bit more closely. So this new moon is a moment that we can rationally, objectively and honestly look at what we want to take with us and hold on to, and what really has to go. So study the areas of your chart impacted by this lunation and consider these carefully, and perhaps writing down your thoughts, memories, feelings or experiences. And this kind of shadow work can really support us to glean wisdom from our experiences and make shifts in our lives to improve our relationships, mental health and the quality of our lives. If this feels resonant for you, do try to engage in this work, but if you don't feel safe to engage in the shadow work at this time, just do what you need to do, and do speak to a mental health professional to support you with this introspective work if you want to engage in it, or just if you feel that you need the support. So Aquarius is the fixed, active air sign. It's masculine by duality, but that does not mean it is female or male. It's not about gender. It's simply to describe the active quality of the sign and the archetype. So Aquarius is symbolized by the water bearer. Its ancient ruler is the great malefic Saturn, and the modern ruler is Uranus. Aquarius is inspiring, intellectual, eccentric, friendly, charming, calm, smooth, and an excellent communicator. Aquarius tends to be logical and rational, innovative, unconventional, industrious and creative, detached, objective, and unemotional. The archetype of Aquarius is concerned with the bigger picture and the collective rather than the personal. It's about the higher mind. The moon doesn't have a particular dignity in Aquarius, however, it does provide the emotional, personal, and intuitive luminary with some objective balance, which makes an Aquarius moon an ideal time to process and assimilate wisdom gleaned from past experiences or pain. So the moon in Aquarius may be more able to see clearly, to accept the reality of a situation, or to break through barriers or blocks that have been limiting our potential or stifling our growth. So this is truly a liberating time. This is also a great time for trying out new, inventive, imaginative, wacky or quirky ideas for your daily routines and habits to support you to pursue those intentions that we've talked about. Perhaps creating a new way of working, or trying out a new app to organize something that you were previously doing manually, or engaging in an interactive experience to engage your brain, or connecting with new and diverse communities across social media. There are so many ways that these energies can manifest for us in our lives, and again, looking at which houses the impacted signs occupy in your birth chart will tell you a lot about the areas that are supported or implicated during this lunation. So in terms of aspects, we have the Sun and the Moon conjunct at 1 degree 32 minutes of Aquarius, and these luminaries are making an out of sign conjunction to Pluto in Capricorn at 28 degrees. As we've briefly discussed, Pluto is approaching the 29th degree, and as this occurs, the energies that we've seen play out, notably the Saturn-Pluto conjunction at 22 degrees of Capricorn back in January 2020, as we saw the pandemic play out. These energies are reaching an intense pinnacle release point, and these energies are kind of coming back up again for us. And as a result, we may see again more power struggles and structural disintegration play out on the world stage. Personally, these may manifest as a powerful need for the freedom to make choices, or to speak out, or to live in a way that aligns with you. It may show up as fierce independence or confidence in your own abilities and newfound confidence, especially surrounding what may have been restrictive or confined circumstances for us. Again, these factors will depend upon the house that Capricorn occupies in your birth chart, and any planets present within that house or aspected by particular degrees. For instance, 22 degrees, where we had that Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn in January 2020, or the 28 degrees, which is where Pluto is currently at Capricorn. These degrees may be relevant for some as the energies move forward, and particularly when Pluto ingresses into Aquarius in March. So this energy is extremely empowering and intense, especially since the 18th of January 2023, as Pluto made an exact conjunction with the Sun and the Moon. Again, the release of this energy also connects with that ongoing Saturn-Uranus square story. Saturn in Aquarius square Uranus in Taurus, along with the North Node, which for the last few years has been highlighting this dance between the powers of the status quo in the collective versus the needs of the people, and embracing a future that is more sustainable and egalitarian. So now is the time when we can start to move forward collectively and personally, and we can begin to start putting our inspiring ideas into motion and manifestation. Our endeavours towards manifesting our intentions are greatly supported by a wide trine from the Sun and Moon in Aquarius to Mars, now direct and ready to go in Cerebral Gemini at 8 degrees. Mars is moving pretty slowly, but it is fueled up and it's inspired to take action, especially now that Gemini's ruler Mercury has also gone direct. So this motion will pick up in the coming weeks, and now the direct Mars is reignited by desire for the manifestation of the project that you are focused on. So whilst Aquarius and Gemini may not be the most emotional of signs, Mars is somewhat of a passionate planet, and now direct has all of the information and assimilated data to proceed directly in Gemini, and it can proceed now with awareness, mindfulness and agility. So this trine to Mars is auspicious, and essentially it's a big green go sign in case you need it. And Mars is emotionally engaged and mentally prepared for the project, and the energy is all in motion now. So with this powerful, intense energy may also arise some mental frustration or confusion, especially if there are any overwhelming factors at play. So do be mindful of that, and be sure to examine all the information that's now available to you since the retrogrades before you take action. So always be cautious. Just because the sign says go doesn't mean that you don't need to look both ways before you go. So be sensible with this empowering and exciting energy. The Sun and Moon in Aquarius are also sextile Jupiter in Aries at 4 degrees, which will serve to amplify this risk-taking energy. So it's exhilarating and magical, but again, just be cautious of overdoing or moving too fast. There may be a desire to prove oneself or overexert oneself for gains, but just keep in mind the end goal and the intention and initial objective behind the work. Another signification of this almost desperate need to go to extremes of empowerment or action that we do see in Mars and in Pluto within this lunation is Black Moon Lilith's opposition to the Sun and Moon at 1 degree of Leo. So Black Moon Lilith at 1 degree of Leo, it feels like it is stepping out into the spotlight for this feminine, empowered lunar apogee. So the Black Moon Lilith, the lunar apogee, is where the moon is at the furthest point from the Earth at any given time. So currently at 1 degree of Leo. So in Leo, the sign ruled by the Sun, Black Moon Lilith steps out from the shadows and commands attention and respect. And this is perhaps a point when we realize that we've reached our limit with certain situations, circumstances, or individuals. This feels like a moment of boundary setting and enforcement, and this is emancipation from where we have been confined, or where we may have been restricting ourselves, or where we may have forced ourselves into ways of being which weren't right or okay for us. You know, I'm thinking square peg, round hole. Again, this opposition is a release of pressure, and those with planets or points near to or aspected by Black Moon Lilith may feel this significantly. So as we've already discussed, Uranus is stationing direct on the 22nd at 14 degrees 56 minutes of Taurus, and this is very close of course to the 15th degree, the midpoint, which just as the 29th anaretic degree, the 15 degree point is extremely potent. It's a critical degree, and this also highlights the ongoing stories of the past few years that we've already looked at involving Saturn, Pluto, Uranus and the North Node. So as our world continues to shift in tangible, challenging and unpredictable ways, ultimately these changes are for the greater good of the collective, and again this signifies that this point is truly pivotal and liberating for us, both personally and collectively. We can see this as a final chance to create space for what we are calling in for manifestation. Mercury is also now direct at 8 degrees of Capricorn, and it's supporting Mars's clarity as it moves ahead. And Mercury is trine the co-ruler of this new moon, which is Uranus, and the North Node at 14 degrees and 9 degrees of Taurus respectively. So Uranus at 14 degrees and the North Node at 9 degrees. So this trine again signifies the divine momentum towards a future that's focused on the security and equality of the people and the planet. So the systems of oppression and domination which have sought to manipulate, profit and benefit from the suffering and lack of others are continuing to crumble. The earth signs Taurus and Capricorn are calling for sustainability, equality and longevity in our institutions. This is dependent upon healthy connections, communications and collaborations. Mercury makes a sextile to the South Node in Scorpio at 9 degrees as well, and that's also supporting this effective and transparent communication. So now may be a great time to liaise or commune with partners, investors or external parties that we have business with or emotional ties to. There is a great chance of resolving differences, creating mutually beneficial situations, healing rifts or securing opportunities at this time. Look to the relevant houses these planets occupy in your chart to discover more about where this energy may be playing out for you. Venus, the lesser benefic, is at 23 degrees of Aquarius and also closely conjunct Saturn at 24 degrees of Aquarius. And this conjunction will be exact just after the new moon. This aspect also indicates a need for mature communication within partnerships and relationships, whether they be private or professional. This is where we may need to calmly vocalize our values or assert our boundaries, or when we may need to listen and respond to those of another. The energy may implicate the need for rebalance of control within relationships, communication around or a recognition of how each party shows up within the relationship. And such mature, pragmatic and honest communication about particular situations or personal needs is likely to lead to positive solutions, whether this means the end of a particular connection or the moving through and rebuilding of the structural integrity of that relationship. So although Saturn is considered to be the great malefic, Saturn really is like the disciplinarian parental figure. Saturn is the time lord and all about long-term stability. Therefore, any restrictions, boundaries or breakdowns that we come up against are actually for our highest good, even if it may not seem so at the time. Saturn teaches us integrity, discipline, stability and structure. It's through Saturn's lessons that we learn how to live better lives and to become healthier, more balanced individuals. Whilst many structures we have known are crumbling and disintegrating, those based on healthy, integral foundations are long-lasting and supportive. Saturn is showing Venus this right now. So open your heart to seeing the potential of what could be if this was for your highest and greatest good. It's always easier for the mind and the body to stay in comfortable prisons, but to venture into the new is frightening, even if we know it's for our own good. So allow Saturn to show you how you've imprisoned yourself or allowed others to do so, and release that which is not nourishing or based in love. This lunation is also occurring in the first decan of Aquarius, which is associated with the Five of Swords tarot card and referred to as the Lord of Defeat. This card speaks to a separation from something or someone which is unhealthy or harmful to us. This process can be painful, yet it is necessary for a happier future. So as we've held ourselves within the stillness and the cold, dark depths of Capricorn season, now in Aquarius season with the planets turning direct and the forward momentum, we can start to look towards that vision of the future. Even if you may not feel ready to set sail with your plans yet, or even to examine that which you've learnt throughout the retrogrades, do take this time to breathe into a moment of solitude and release. Just allow your body to relax into a feeling of safety, security, and openness with ease. Feel your muscles soften and allow your breath to slow, and let your gaze wash over with serenity. Wherever you are is okay. Whatever you need is okay. Allow yourself to slowly adjust and make the space you need to in your own time. The space that you create within Aquarius season will invite in those intentions and desires to manifest, and those seeds will begin to sprout forth as we move towards the culmination of the zodiacal year and approach Aries season. So continue to recharge and rest if you need to, and when you feel strong and energetic enough to review what you've learnt and to ascertain what you will bring with you into the future and what still needs to be cleared out and released. Take your time and record your musings as you prefer. So you may wish to do this within a bullet journal, a digital book of shadows, an audio recording, poetry, scribbles, a painting or a sketch. You may also find it really beautiful to move through your emotions and sensitivities with some physical movement, energy healing or breath work. Yoga, Pilates, meditation, body journaling or Reiki are all beautiful options for this. So I hope that this Aquarius super new moon serves you really beautifully and is really nourishing for you at this time. I hope that this video has been enlightening and supportive for you and your journey, and if you enjoyed it, please do click the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed, and also click that little notification bell to receive notifications when I create videos just like this and other witchcraft and tarot content. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I also have a Patreon where you can access the full written forecasts for the new and full moon. These forecasts also include further practices and suggestions for rituals and shadow work, as well as herbs and crystals that you can use in your practice for this lunation. I also include my new moon in Aquarius tarot spread, or the tarot spread for the particular lunation, and that is bespoke to the moment. So on Patreon you can download a PDF of that, and the graphic is also available on my Instagram. If you wanted to look at the spread prompts there, you can do that. So do click over to Patreon and join us there if you would like more content like this. I also create some custom Book of Shadows pages with rituals and recipes that I've included on the channel, so those are occasional as well. So do come over to support the Patreon. I'd love to see you there. There's also a Discord server which is really lovely as well, and follow me over on Instagram as well, where I share quite frequently what I'm up to, what I'm reading, what I'm working on, etc. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this video and it serves you. If you made it to the end of the video, please leave me a little new moon emoji. Do take care of yourselves. I look forward to seeing you in another video really soon. Many blessings. Bye.